Yeah, I think we are live now. Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, students. Nice to have you here. We have students are joining in, so we'll wait for a couple of minutes. In the
Okay.
meanwhile, you could share how is your feeling once after clearing your CA foundation examination, and how geared up are you for your CA inter examination?
Suraj, you're simultaneously online on YouTube as well?
Yeah, we are online on YouTube as well. Yeah, we sent out a notification, so we'll wait for students to join in. In the meanwhile, students, whoever have joined in, please share your experience as to how have you been feeling, and how are the energy levels, and how are you looking up to the CA inter examination coming up. Good morning, Yog. Good morning, Gokul Krishna. Okay, I think we're good to start up. Yeah, good morning, Sheikh. I hope all of you are celebrating your CA foundation success and looking forward for your CA intermediate examination. Now, the reason why I'm having this conversation, good morning, Lachi. The reason why we are having this conversation is to help you understand the way you should be approaching your CA inter examination, right? Good morning, Sadhana. I hope all of you are doing good and all of you are celebrating your CA foundation success. And now the next journey which starts is level 2. You have cleared level 1 and now you're moving on to level 2. Like you play any games, like you watch, any kind of tournament or all, as you progress to the next level, it becomes slightly difficult, right? And let me tell you upfront, CA foundation, many of you might have felt it to be difficult. Inter would be more difficult. Final would be the most difficult, right? That is how it would be progressing. So now that you have cleared your CA foundation and all of you would be eligible to write in the upcoming November 22 examination, a lot of students come up with this doubt as to whether we would be able to crack both the groups. Should we write plan for both the groups? Good morning, Kavin. Should we plan both the groups, or should we write one group in the November attempt and one group in the May 23 attempt? First thing, let me tell you, if you start today, you have sufficient enough time to prepare for both the groups for the upcoming attempt. So that is one thing which should be clear in your mind by now, that the time that you have, right? Even if you start from March, that is, from March till October end, you have 8 months in hand. And 8 months in hand, if you are willing to put in 8 to 10 hours of studies every day, attempting both the groups would be definitely possible, right? So there is no doubt on that. You can definitely prepare for both the groups and write both the groups. Now, coming to the examination aspect, CA foundation versus CA inter, if you look at the content, it is at least 4 times. So if let us say I put as CA foundation as content of 100, now it would be at least 300 to 400 effort that you need to put. So that is the kind of jump you are expected to do when you come to CA inter, right? So that is one thing. It has to be clear in your mind. It is not not just going from 4 subjects to 8 subjects, but also the content in each of the subject would be vast. And I'm telling this to you upfront, because you should not be under some notion that, okay, we had 4 subjects earlier, now we have 8 subjects, it is just double the efforts that needs to be put is 4 times. And I believe all of you are ready to put in that effort to crack your examination in the upcoming attempt. Now, broadly looking at the subjects that you'll be having, accounting is what you have, accounting and advanced accounting. That is just the extension of your CA foundation accounting. Then you have law, which is extension of business law that you would have learned in your CA foundation. Then we have new subjects like taxation, income tax and GST. You have new subjects like cost and management accounting. You have financial management. All these subjects would be new to you, but once you get used to it, it would not be really difficult. Then we also have subjects like economics, which is, at foundation you had more on microeconomics. Now you would have more on macroeconomics. Then you have strategic management, enterprise information system, and last but not the least, subject on audit. Okay, so this is the broad spectrum of subjects that you would be having. A lot of them practicals, that is based on numericals, like your accounting, financial management, cost accounting, income tax, GST, and theory based subjects like economics, audit, EIS, and SM, as we call. So what you need to do is you need to have a balanced plan of a practical subject and a theory subject to target your upcoming November 22 examination, right? So this is the broad thing what I had to share before we take up your questions. And I once again congratulate to all of those who have joined in late for having successfully cleared the CA Foundation exam and are looking forward to your CA Inter examination. Over to you, Frenil. If you have any thoughts to share with the students who have joined in, and
Yes.
can share your thoughts, and then we can take questions from the students.
Thank you, Suraj, for the opportunity, and very congratulations, many congratulations to all the children who have cleared their foundation exams and came to the second. I could say that you're officially jumped into the ocean of chartered accountancy. Now you have no option but to go to the other side, right? Now let me put some things into perspective before I go anywhere forward, right? So in the name of motivation, I don't want to underestimate the challenge. Okay. The thing is, Suraj rightly said that whenever we are looking at CA Inter, you are looking at a challenge. Now that challenge has to be faced with the proper plan. Now we have 8 months remaining for the next examination coming, that is CA Inter, and there are 8 subjects. Now let me just give you a small glimpse there. It is not only 8 subjects. Some subjects have 2 subjects in them, like EIS and SM, and you have FM and economics. So these subjects are not together, they are separate subjects. But in the name of exam, there is only one exam combined, 50 or 60-40, whatever proportion it is. So you have to start. We have a quote called early bird takes the worm. That is, if you prepare from the beginning today, you will be able to be in a very comfortable position when you approach the exams. Now we know that May examination is coming and your seniors are already writing, and at last everybody's only one complaint all the time is, we don't have time. Sir, we don't have time, we don't have time. Only 1 month is remaining, only 2 months is remaining. That is because certain things have been taken lightly in the beginning of the study process. If at all you have done that properly, then there is no problem at all. I would like to talk elaborately about this once we get all your questions, and definitely that your inter is going to be challenging and you might have a lot of things in your head that you want clarification on. So we are on. Over to you, Suraj.
Yeah. So just to add on to what Frenil said, right? If at all you were watching a cricket match, let us say not a 2020 match, CA Foundation might have been your 2020 match, but now it's a one-day international. Let us say it's a 50-over match, and the target is to score 300, right? Now the plan should be every over you should be able to score 5, 6, 7. That should be your pace. But let us say in the beginning, few 10, 20 overs, you don't, target your, score of 5, 6 or 7. You just score 2 runs, 1 run, 3 runs and all of that. Suddenly, after 25 or 30 overs, there will be pressure building on you that you have to score more runs. Why is that so? Because in the first part of the game or first part of the match, you did not score, as you were expected to score. Suddenly, if you don't score till, let us say, the 40th over, then in the last 10 overs, you have to score maybe 100 runs, 150 runs. Then that becomes a headache. So right from the start, right from the day one, plan your studies, pace your studies in a way that you would be able to score about, let us say, 6 hours, 8 hours every day, so that towards the end, you don't have to slog for 14 hours and 16 hours. Because see, slogging for 14, 16 hours is not an effective way of learning. For some, it may work, but generally, we cannot continuously focus and study for such a long period of time, right? So that is one more thing which, I would like to highlight, taking forward Frenil's advice on, planning. So right now, straight away, see, your celebrations time is over. You have already celebrated for the last 4-5 days, right? Now it's time to get serious. And it's time to start with full dedication. See, yesterday we were talking to the rank holders of CA final. They were like talking about commitment, discipline, avoiding distractions. So that is how you should also be approaching your CA inter examination. So that is the first thing you have to keep in mind. Second, do effective studies, do smart work, but utilize your time efficiently. Don't get distracted by things going around you, because this is a time where you have to put efforts, and this effort is what will give you results in the future. So, whether you have to write November, you have to write May, that question should be addressed subsequently, but right from start, right from day one, you please stay, complete your registration with ICAI, get the study material and start preparing. Okay. So that is the, broad thing which I had to, share with you. Now, if you have any specific question, if there are any concerns, if there are any, fear going on, if there is any confusion, please feel free to ask. We'll be happy to take those questions and address your concerns. So whatever questions you have, you can put it out in the comment section, and then we will be, happy to take up.
In the meanwhile, Suraj, I would like to address, and I would like you to answer actually, because this is the most common question which will be asked by the students. A lot of students after foundation results approached me and they said that, sir, should I prepare for one group or should I prepare for both the groups? What should I do?
So in fact, that has been a few questions which we got immediately after our students also cleared CA Foundation. That do we write both the groups in November attempt, or do we write only a single group? Right now, one thing that we need to understand here, as we said, we have 8 months in hand. Okay, on an average, if you can put on about 8 to 10 hours of study, you get effectively about 200 to 250 hours to study. That multiplied by 8 months, you have total of 2000 hours to prepare for your CA inter examination. Now, when you do this, when you have so much of time in your hand, it is definitely possible to attempt both the groups. Okay. And see, there are a lot of advantages of writing. See, so Madhav came up with the same question, both single group or both group. Definitely, given the time you have, if you can put in the efforts, if you have the dedication towards it, it is possible to write both the groups. And my first suggestion to almost all the students have been that, whatever has been your foundation result, don't evaluate yourself based on your foundation results. Whatever has been the result, go for the second group right from day one. Okay. The day you start for both the groups preparation. See, even at the start of the preparation, if you think that, no, we cannot write both the groups, we'll prepare only for one group, then you might be under aiming. See, they always say, right, you should aim for the stars. At least you will land at the moon. So stars is both the group, moon is a single group. So you aim for the stars. Maybe after 6 months, 7 months, when there is a time, when the time comes to, when you have to fill up your exam forms, at that point of time, you can do an assessment. But don't start thinking that I'll only write one group now and one group next. See, there are some advantages. You have, write both the groups. You can start your articles faster. Firms would also prefer who have written and clear both in a, single attempt. It can help you set off. For example, some of the students may end up scoring 180 in group 1, 220 in group 2. So you will be in a position to clear the examination if you write both the groups. So it is always advantageous to write both the groups, unless because of unforeseen circumstances towards the end you feel that you are not fully prepared. Then you can take a call at that point of time. But immediately, don't start thinking that I'll write only one group. Now, the next thing which comes up with, if you have to write both the groups, how do we prepare our plan, or how do we prepare our schedule? For that, we have a customized, study planner, scheduler, which you can use. And that tells you each day which topics, which subjects you need to complete. And based on that, you can, start your preparation on that. So that is my answer to single group and both group. So there is one question which is on how many hours to study every day. See, there is no hard and fast rule. One thing I can tell you is, generally to begin with, in the first 2 to 3 months, you can start with about 8 hours of study, gradually increase to 10 hours, right? Any smart schedule to clear both the groups. So schedule we do have on our, platform. Let me, just share that with you so that you can have a feel of how does it look. Just give me a moment.
Great. Yeah.
Let me just share my screen. Yeah. Yeah, I hope all of you are able to see this thing, study planner, what we have. You can, so this is, I just created, just to test it once. So, every day based on the inputs you give, it tells you, between what time to what time, what subject you have to, study. So in FM, you do working capital management, and, FM, you do this, then, this basically talks about financial management, because I had taken only, that thing. But if I go back to previous month, let us say I go back to previous month, December, right? And if I select the date, so, so what has to be done, GST, in advance accounting, what is to be done, in income tax, what is to be done. So this is the schedule what we have prepared, and, you can replan it. And once you are done, you can just, keep a tick. So this is completed, right? So you can have a week view in the entire week, how it is to be done. You just finish whatever you finish, you just keep on ticking it off, so that you can keep a track of what has been completed, what has not been completed. Okay. So this also shows you overall progress. And gradually we'll also start sending you, how much have you completed versus how much you should have completed, right? So this is the planner which you can use, easy to create. So you can just, create on the plan. If you want to study on Sundays or not study on Sunday, then, I'll include Sunday, and then, click on replan, and then it, just modifies it. Right. So because, I had created it a long time back, it has modified and, given me this kind of structure. So it is easy for you to track and plan your studies, right? So that is what you can use for, right? Now, how many subjects can we take each day? Can we study taxation later or now because of amendments? Okay, very valid questions. How many subjects can we take each day? Now, each day, ideally, I would suggest about 2 to 3 subjects. Friendly, if you have a different opinion, you can share your thoughts on that.
No, right now, no. I'd like to answer the previous question first to that student who asked that single or double group. Okay. Now, let me tell you, Suraj rightly pointed out that your previous your studies or your 12th, 10th, your achievements, that is based on that. Please don't make a decision now, because let me tell you that whatever that studies that you have had before, you are not being pushed to the limits. Only in CS subjects you'll be pushed to the limits, and sometimes what happens is you will bloom when you take that things on you. And certain times, if you prepare only for one group, and if you don't prepare for the other, from the day one, if you're attempting say, let's say you're preparing for both the groups, there are a lot of effects that you get because of one subject to other, second group to first group. For example, you learn auditing, and you learn certain kind of articulation of answers that you can use in law. And there are a lot of other things, that wordings, vocabulary that you learn, which will add to your group, even if you study for both the groups. And at the end, while you're giving your mock test, let us say 3 months before the exam, and you feel that, okay, I can attempt only one group, at that time you can take a call. But there will be a lot of effects, good effects, that other group will have on your previous group. So that is an answer. And to the second thing, whether you should study more than one subject, definitely yes. Every day you can't be sitting with the same subjects. There is always a saturation point that you will reach, no matter how interesting the subjects are. And so 2 to 3 subjects would be great. That is my opinion as well.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. And then there is can we study taxation later or now because of amendments? Let me tell you, for students who are writing in November, taxation will have only limited amendments. And even who are planning to write in May 23, there has been very, very less amendments in the current budget which has been passed. And one thing for all of you, for students who write examination in May 22 and November 22, the Finance Act is same. The Finance Bill of 2021 is applicable. Finance Bill of 2022 is not applicable. Okay, so Finance Bill of 2022 is applicable from May 23 attempt. And even there, changes are very few. Okay, and GST also hardly any changes. So, you should not be postponing taxation just because of the fear of amendments. And nearby the examination, we also come out with, what are the amendments which are applicable for the upcoming attempt. You can revise that. It will be, very few. There are no drastic changes, if you ask me. Even if you are writing in May 23, if you have thought of writing in May 23 because of reasons like, your BCom classes are going on, you don't have sufficient time and all of that, there are not many changes as far as income tax is concerned. And GST also, there will be only few changes here and there. Okay. And yes, Sanjay has rightly told, the most powerful schedule lies in your brain. Yes, That is what you think it, you do it, you decide it, you do it, and that is what brings you success. So Manoj has a question which says how to complete first revision along with the classes. So every day what you need to do is you need to slot a time where you would be revising whatever you have learned during the day. Because see, as you listen to classes, whether you're attending online classes or physical classes, in the class you would feel that okay, everything is clear. But then if you don't touch that topic for 1 week or 10 days, and if you open the books again, you'll feel everything is in Greek and Latin, right? So every day after the day ends or before the day ends, slot some 1 to 2 hours of time where you can quickly revise whatever you have learned in the entire day. Then next day, before you start the next topic, quickly brush through the previous topic. So what happens is it becomes a reinforcement. So today you learned something, you revised it by the end of the day. Next day again, you gave a brief, look at that particular topic. Then that would help you to recollect that topic. And one of the most effective way what I have found is, if you keep on writing along with the classes, whether it's physical or online, in your own handwriting, in your own notes, then that is something which will get imprinted in your mind. And when you're revising it later, it becomes easy for you to recollect. Fredil, if you would want to, add thoughts on how to complete first revision along with the classes.
Definitely that cumulative study, what we suggest all the time, that whenever you are going through some topic the next day, whatever that you have done on the previous day or previous week, you can just brush through. And there is something called as a learning curve. That is, if you look at the first time you might take 20 minutes, but next time you'll take 10, next time you'll take 5, probably at last you'll just be brushing over that sum and you will understand everything. So the thing is, you have to schedule your studies in such a way that your entire day is divided into 2 parts. One is that acquiring new knowledge by watching new classes, and a small part of your day has to be kept for revision. And when you finish the classes, if you think about it, let us say that you take 25 days to complete one topic coaching completely. From the first day, if you revise whatever that you have done on the previous day, the things that you have done on the first day are revised 24 times at the end when you finish the 25th day. So that is the level of revision, that cumulative revision that we are supposed to do. Probably it becomes very difficult at the end of after 20th day probably. But what you can do is you can revise it once in 2 days or once in 3 days. We used to follow that technique, and that helps us a lot, because mere understanding of the subject, it will not keep that in your mind for a long time. Okay, you understand it because you have a logical progression in your mind, but at last, for the examination purpose, you need memory as well. You have to remember as well what to write, how to write, how was the sum solved. You need to remember that. So for that, a revision becomes paramount, and daily you will have to revise what you studied on the previous day.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks, Frenil. So I think that sums up how do you revise. And see, the other reason why you need to constantly revise is for 2 things. One, content is vast. We are not scaring you. We are telling you the truth, and it is possible to crack. It's not that it's very difficult to crack. The content is vast, and on the top of it, it is not like CA Foundation where economics and BCK you can do an MCQ and be done with it. You actually have to write content. Right. So here, though there is a portion in some subjects like, in law and in taxation, in audit, EISSM, you have MCQs, but apart from that, you have to write for the balance 70 marks. Now, when you have to write for 70 marks in your examination, you should also be able to remember and reproduce the keywords. Now, that is only possible when you continuously revise. Okay. Whenever you come across a new concept or a difficult topic, make a note of it separately. Make a note of it in a separate place where you can, revisit and revise and recollect. Right. That will help you to revise the topic. Then there is another question which again is about time. As I told you, we can start with about 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours in the beginning. Gradually push it up to about 8 to 10 hours. About that point, that amount of time would be sufficient for you to attempt your prepare for your examination. Okay, I think that is the thing we had so far. If there are any other questions, please feel free to put it out. Yes, and other thing is, please note the cutoff date for your registration. If you have to write in November, is 1st of March. So please register before this date, preferably by 28th of February, so that you are able to, you are eligible to write the November 22 examination. That is one thing. And see whether, because if you don't register by that time, the attempt automatically gets postponed. So please keep that in mind. And if you register earlier, you will get the study material also earlier. That will also help you, right well. Then guidance notes for short notes for theory subjects. See, as you listen to a topic, try to summarize it in your own words, whatever you have understood. And as you compile these short notes, that becomes your a reference point for your examination. Frenel, if you have something to add on this, short notes for theory subjects.
Yes, so every topic that we study, students will have certain triggers that only we are able to relate to it. Probably when Suraj is teaching us amalgamation, right? He tells a certain way of solving, and I understand it in a certain way, and I want to write it down. But my understanding might not be same with the others. Where the logic remains the same, that is given in the textbook, that is given in the notes. But the way I understand it and the way I like to approach, I write it down because that is my notes, and I can understand it faster than anybody else's notes. So you will have to always make a short, right? Whenever you're studying anything, whether it's theory subject or practical subject, I used to even write down for practical subjects the steps to solve. That what I used to do, how I used to first get the data, what is given, and then think about how to approach the sum, step one, step two, right? I used to write down. And sometimes when I look at a topic name, when I have to revise that, I just go through the steps and I would understand and I can go and solve any sum. So preparing that notes is very important for clearing your exam.
Okay, thank you for that. Right, so that was it from our side. If you have any more questions, we would be happy to address them. Otherwise, we would proceed and conclude the meeting.
There are a few questions on YouTube. They're addressed, I believe.
Yeah, we have addressed the questions on YouTube and also what has been posted at the forums, or the questions what we received on WhatsApp. All those questions have been addressed.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, registration process. You have to log into the SSP portal, and there you can apply for your CA Inter examination. It is a simple, straightforward process, nothing complicated. Right. And as we conclude the session, again, right. The few things that I would like to reiterate is start immediately. Don't wait for any day. Start after Holi. We'll start after BCom exams. We'll start after this date, that date. Nothing. Start. Don't wait for next financial year. Start immediately. Start today. Start tomorrow. But start immediately. And start your preparation with full dedication, with your full efforts. And because you have cleared foundation, that is the way you have started your journey, you have moved to the next level. You have to increase your efforts, you have to increase your hard work and dedication, and with the proper focused preparation, it is definitely achievable. And to start with both the groups. To write or not, we can decide later in August, September, but today don't decide that you'll just write a single group. That is it from my side. Frenel, if you have, can just have your concluding remarks, and then we can close up the session.
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate that welcome to Chartered Accountancy now, because after clearing foundation, we are officially into the Chartered Accountancy segment, and you should do great. And to do great, you have to start early. That's what Suraj also said. You have to start immediately. I guess that you should have already started, right? So today, tomorrow is also fine. So you have to start early, you have to finish early, you have to revise many times, you have to have more concentration, dedication, and everything else. And of course, we'll be there to support you all the time. And your queries and all, you can post it on forums, and we'll be answering it. And if you have any more questions, you can still post on forums, and we'll be happy to answer you.
Yeah, and we'll be catching you again and again with some subject related revisions, or with some live discussions and all of that. Is online classes enough to clear both the groups? See, once you're conceptually clear and you've practiced or physical classes, it is absolutely fine. In fact, let me tell you, in the last 1 year, 1.5 years after COVID stuck, almost all the classes were online. Okay,
Online,
and we
yeah.
have students who have cleared CA foundation by attending online classes. We have CA Inter students who have cleared just by attending our classes. So whether our classes or any other online classes, that is that is the choice of the student. But it is, yes, definitely possible to attempt and prepare with an online class as well. It saves you a lot of time actually, right? So you can check out our demos. You can check out how our students have, the written, and we can take a call post that, right? And thanks for joining in, students. Thanks for your time. I hope the session has addressed some of your questions. As Frenel said, if you still have any more questions, reach out to us. You can ask at forums. You can drop in a mail to support. We'll be happy to address you with your questions. Thank you. Thanks a lot once again. Thanks a lot, Frenil, for taking time out.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Suresh.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day. Yeah.
Have a nice day.